Okay, now we have all the environment variables set up. Before we can actually shoot and capture, we need to get the character's performance ready. So basically, once we launch the app on our phone, we can only tweak the camera, but we need to get the character's performance ready so they can play on a loop and we can just shoot them from different angle. Because once we hit that record button, the Unreal will generate a new sequencer that holds the animation from the camera. We need to overlap that sequencer with our animation from the character, and then we can have the final shot. So next step, I'm gonna talk about how to set up the character performance sequencer. Let's just use a simple example to start, and then we're gonna prepare the performance for the full length. First is the same thing. We need to import the whole mocap or the animation clip from Maya, and once it's inside Unreal Engine, we have a clean motion that the character picks up something and he just walks. This is just a small scale demo. Once the character animation is inside Unreal, we need to create a couple sequencers to hold those animations. Unlike the previous course, we put the camera motion and the character animation in the same sequence. We now need a separate sequencer to hold the performance, and when we record, the Unreal will generate a new sequencer. Then we slap them together to give us the final result. So let's create a new sequencer first. By default, in the virtual camera project, there is a cinematics and sequence folder to hold everything that this whole project, the virtual camera script, automatically generates. And we call it test performance idle. And in this new sequencer, it can be under any scene. In this new sequencer, we're gonna add our character T-pose like Euro. So this first sequencer right now will only be in charge of playing back the character's animation. And if you have two characters, you can put two characters in this sequencer as well. So this we call it a performance sequence. Once we save this sequencer, this whole virtual camera project will allow us to access to all the sequencers in this project folder on our phone later. So we do the same thing. We add the T-pose into the scene and assign it with the idle walking animation clip. We just gonna cover the full frame range of this clip. It's actually a bit longer than 1,000 frames, but I think I have enough. This is the performance sequencer setup. Now we save it. The next step, let's play the scene. You can see in this interface we have a performance button down there, and if we click that, it will bring up the window that shows all the sequencers, not only the performance, all the sequencers inside the whole scene, and we can select our test idle sequencer in there. So what this will do is, if we hit the play button right next to the time code right now, the sequencer will be played on a loop, and if we hit the record button, while the sequencer plays on a loop, we can record whatever our camera is doing into a new sequence and translate it into translation keys and rotation keys. Okay, now it's ready. So now things are ready, and it's very important to label your performance sequence properly, because it will show everything you have in the scene, and you want to be able to navigate on your phone quickly. Okay, let's now connect our phone with our desktop. Launch the remote app on our phone. So as you can see right now, my phone and my desktop are connected, and we are controlling our virtual camera in we are controlling the virtual camera through our phone. Right now we can find our character somewhere here, and if we move back a little bit just to avoid the intersection, the first thing, let's select the right performance clip. So if you click on the performance button, we can find our test idle sequencer. Then we click the play button. We're not in the recording mode yet. This is more for rehearsal before we hit the record button. So it's better to walk through this whole animation just to make sure where you want the camera to be. And especially if you have a room, it's better to make sure, do you have enough space in the real room for you to cover this whole space in the scene. This app will allow you to convert your movement unit, meaning that you can set the movement scale maybe to 1 to 10. So if you only move a little bit in the real world, it will get amplified 10 times in the 3D world. So let's hit record button. Right now our movement is getting recorded into a new sequence. I kind of want to frame the sculpture into the scene a little bit. You can see a little bit of frame drop here and there, but shouldn't be a big issue. Okay, let's get back a little bit lower. We can lower and pull up. And because the ARKit is reading the image data from your camera, so for you to have the best result, it's better to shoot the whole scene shoot the whole motion in a well-lit environment. Once it's recorded, we can see it generated a new sequencer clip called, I think it's called recorded sequencer. It will automatically generate a two-folder structure. One is housing the camera, the whole camera keys, and all the camera parameters, because you can also tweak the lens through the app too. Okay, the second step we need to do is just to slap our camera motion and our character motion together. So if we go into the sequencer, create them automatically, let's go to the first frame. We just need to add another shot track. This will allow us to overlap the test idle animation into the sequencer as well. So if we select that and we play, the character performance and our camera motion that recorded are synced. If we look through the camera, that's the motion we just saw through our phone screen and has been recorded into this sequencer. Again, this couple keyframe drops, not a big issue. In the next course, we're going to talk about how to smooth them out in Maya. So this is generally a basic workflow of how to set up the performance and to record the camera. If it's your first time using this, it's best to test out this whole performance and workflow in a smaller scale before we go into the full frame range recording. Okay. Okay, now let's do the actual camera motion for this whole action sequence. I have imported the character animation into this scene already, and this is almost a 700 frames animation. A little trick for the full scale production recording for a better frame rate, because all the calculation, everything is happening on your computer. Your phone is just a display, and all the data is getting streamed via Wi-Fi. So when you do the actual recording for the shot, it's better just to keep the scene as light as possible. If you have any props in that, necessary, keep in there, but if you have unnecessary terrain or environment, get rid of it. Here I only have 2 soldiers in the scene and a ground plane. That's all I need for a better frame rate. No texture either. Okay, right now everything is set and my phone and the computers are connected. Our performance clip is set as well. Before I do the actual recording, I need to do a little rehearsal so I know how far I need to run and if it's enough in my space. So let's do a little test. And the button down on the right allows you to set waypoints so you can quickly navigate to the preset position. It gives you about like 3 seconds. Okay, let's just run for it. All right, just go up a bit. You hear already the fighting sequence. Because we're now seeing a blank wall, there's nothing for the camera to track, so the track gets loose a bit. So I pretty much know that the distance should be from one room to the other. To keep the environment well lit is very important. All right, let's do the actual recording. I have to say I do need a bigger space, but that's what I got for now. Let's hit again. So we have some options to choose from. This is a huge benefit. It's just you can get one take really quick and do another take. Okay, I think we get what we need. Next course, let's just smooth things up.
Purchase genuine tutorial. Enjoy the question answering from course tutor in the long term. Join the exclusive Facebook group and learn from each other. Also, you can sign up with Yihu.com. Search for the course ID. Obtain the full learning courseware, project files. Follow us on Facebook. Get closer to become a master in CG field.